And we are live. This is the Canada Hoops Daily Presents live hangout. We got USA and South Sudan balling right now. This is just, first off, thank you for tuning in. For the people who are watching this stream, we're here. We are live on the YouTube page. We are live on Instagram. If you happen to be checking out this game or trying to check out this game, South Sudan trying to put up a fight here against the U.S. It's now a 19-point lead. And the interesting part here is obviously these two teams played a couple weeks ago, and South Sudan was able to keep it close. And now I think the interesting part is adjustments made by your man Steve Kerr. First adjustment being, first off, just the fact that Steve Kerr has done away with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid not in the lineup. Joel Embiid hasn't played yet, and we're into the second quarter of this game. But, geez, big bucket there. The interesting part here, though, is the adjustment in the lineup. Jason Tatum went from not playing at all to starting. Joel Embiid has gone from starting to not playing at all. And, Steve Kerr is going to brush this off and say that it's matchups, and that's really what's going on here, which I understand. But I think at the same time, I think while it is matchups, it's also just like you're overthinking things, right? Joel Embiid hasn't looked good at all in these Olympics. And I would even say that it's questionable as to why he was ever starting. But hey, that's just me. Either way, let's watch some ball and understand that first off, this broadcast, normally you can find it on the YouTube page. Just search Sheldon Alexander. That is where you can find this feed and see as we react to just what's going on here. And the reason for watching this game for sure was the fact that last time these two teams played, the U.S. was favored by 43.5 points, and they ended up winning by 1 as South Sudan just ran them out of the gym to start the game. They played with pace, they played with tempo, and the U.S., especially starting Joel Embiid, weren't equipped to do that. Whereas you see now this lineup, putting in Anthony Davis into the front line instead of Joel Embiid, you're just getting a way different look from this Team USA squad where it's more agile, you're able to move just faster on offense and on defense than you would be with Joel Embiid. So credit Steve Kerr for making the adjustment, but also that's just the beauty of U.S. basketball, having the ability to make such changes. And timeout there called by the U.S. I mean, it's a 17-point lead, right? South Sudan is down big early, but I think the key here for the U.S., they don't even want to give them a sniff of trying to come back in this game. But also what Team USA has to maintain is they've done such a job in terms of running out a certain rotation and a style of play. And obviously you have the pieces because they have the best team and the most players and all that fun stuff. But I also think the reality of it all from a USA basketball standpoint is at this point, you know who your guys are, right? You know what you're getting from certain guys. And you're getting a nothing burger from Joel Embiid. And I'm sure that they'll play it off and say, okay, he's going to start if they play France and Rudy Gobert. He'll start if they play Jokic and Serbia, which we saw that already. Cool. But other than that, there's really no reason to play Joel Embiid at all. So that luxury in itself is great. But with all of that said, the U.S.'s team, you have to make them play defense, right? Like that's really the only chance you have. And that's before mentioning, oh yeah, Kevin Durant, right? Who had such an amazing game the last time, or the last game, their first Olympic game, Team USA, where he started off 8 for 8, only missed one shot in the entire game. And, an X factor of all X factors is obviously Kevin Durant. So to see that, that's just crazy on its own. You can see here though, score is 40-23 for Team USA. If you are watching this feed, wherever you happen to be watching this feed, first off, thank you. We appreciate that. Secondly, you can show some love to the team by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, wherever you happen to be watching right now. That's all we ask, is you support the movement that is the Canada Hoops Daily brand. Of course, mostly we'll be watching the Canada games. Big win yesterday for the Canadian men's team. We watched that game. If you missed that recap, we got the podcast up on the Canada Hoops Daily feeds on Apple and on Spotify. Make sure you check those out, as you'll be able to find us there. And of course, any and all Canada Hoops Daily content, the video content, you can find on the YouTube page. Just search Sheldon Alexander. You'll find all your Canada Hoops Daily stuff there, including our live hangouts, which you're watching right now, and our recap pods, which we'll do after the Canada games. Look at the pace there, right? And that's what South Sudan's going to do. They're going to try to play with pace. Halliburton getting his first minutes of the Olympics. It's got to be good for him. Get some confidence. But yeah, overall, let's just watch some ball. Let's hang out. Let's enjoy everything that is this Canada Hoops Daily pod. And South Sudan isn't going to just fold, right? Like, that's the other part people got to realize here. The way that they play, and you got to remember, they're ran by Luol Deng. If you know anything about Luol Deng's basketball career, Shayok, okay. If you know anything about Luol Deng's, Anthony Davis was just waiting at the other end of the floor. That's funny. If you know anything about Luol Deng, right? Luol Deng is just a gamer. So he's going to be in the huddle, continuing to try to hype up the team, keep them motivated. He's going to stay on them. He knows, they're going to be trying to pressure these guys into just continuing to play and not giving up. Big block there. Oh, is that why Davis was still down there? If Anthony Davis goes down and they have to play, like, they still have Bam, obviously, as you see Anthony Davis going to the bench. Joel Embiid doesn't look like he's ready to play basketball at all. Look at this guy. This guy looks like he has his hands in his pants. Like, I got to call Webby one day and just be like, what's up with your mans, for real? Seriously. Embiid is not serious about life, man. Look at this guy sitting on the bench. He doesn't look like he's interested in playing basketball right now. It's crazy. Had a friend who messaged me the other day who asked about this point spread, because I think it was 27 or 28 and a half, something like that. I should probably check that. Let me message someone and check that. But I said I'd be willing to take South Sudan plus 20. I feel like they could keep it to 20. And the interesting part, too, about this tournament, you got to remember, point differential matters. So both teams will be trying to still score towards the end of the game. Well, why is Luol Deng so cheesed? Bam. Bam for three. The other thing to remember, too, is that so Luol Deng, he's funding this whole thing like out of his own pocket, right? For the South Sudanese team. And he also is an assistant coach on the team. Royal Ivy are like, if you're a serious NBA head, you'll remember that name. Steph. But look at that. South Sudan, they just get the ball and they're ready to run. I want to talk about Jason Tatum too, because like the amount of talk that went on social media, which like So much of social media is not a real place. It's so like phony and stupid and made up arguments. But then it enters into actual basketball conversation. And, it turns into this thing where people are like, how did Jason Tatum not play? And Derek White got more minutes than him. And Derek White's not as good as Jason Tatum. And it's like, it's not about Derek White being better than Jason Tatum. It's about the fact that this team doesn't have enough point guards, right? Steph Curry is a point guard, but not really. So then you have Halliburton and Derek White and Drew Holiday. So Drew Holiday was getting the starts because and Drew Holiday isn't even really your like prototypical point guard either. But the strength of Drew Holiday is you need someone who's going to play defense, right? So now you bring in Derek White because you need depth at that point guard position. And you saw early on, especially during the friendlies USA was playing, they needed a guard. They needed extra help at someone from the point guard position. That's why Derek White's there. The fact that he was replacing Kawhi is just a flaw in them building this team to begin with, that they didn't have enough point guard play. But the fact that Tatum doesn't play and Derek White does, it's like, it's Team USA. Kevin Durant came back in the lineup. And to me, instead of looking at Derek White, it's like maybe Booker is where, you could see the minutes coming for Jason Tatum where he could be playing there. Like he should be able to play in the Booker role. But overall, just such a dumb, like you just got to be mad about something. Ooh, and one. Yeah. The one thing that I like about South Sudan is they're not scared at all. Ooh, floater. Just a reminder too, we will be up tomorrow morning super early watching the Canadian women as they play Australia and in desperate need of a win to keep their hopes alive of moving on. Uh, Canadian women struggled in their first game against France and definitely need a win. So we'll be up and watching that for sure. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel, the Sheldon Alexander feed, so we can watch along a little Breakfast Club action again. Look at Bam. And see, this is what I mean, right? The minutes going to Bam and AD instead of Joel Embiid completely changes the complexion of the game. And if you're watching along, part of the watch alongs at the start of the US, even their friendlies, we were all talking about the fact that why is Joel Embiid starting anyways? Right? Like he didn't look good. He looked so out of shape. He didn't look up to this at all. His whole style of begging for fouls and flopping all over the place doesn't translate in the FIFA game at all. Look at the whole bench is up and Embiid is just sitting there. I mean, it's just a weird thing anyways, but the switch of going from Joel Embiid in the starting lineup to making it Anthony Davis and then, sticking small and having Bam play your backup center role, it just fits so much better against South Sudan. And cool if you want to keep Joel Embiid around so he can play against the big man teams, when you play against France. Cool. I get it. It's a luxury they got. 55-36 is the score here. South Sudan struggling early against Team USA. But here's the thing, South Sudan is not just going to fold. They're going to keep playing. So you expect a run to come at some point. Halftime, I'm assuming, like they're not just here to they're not just happy to be here, right? They are not going to be happy with this performance at all. And the reality obviously that Team USA wasn't just gonna Like they were embarrassed by what almost happened in that game against South Sudan. So you knew you were going to get a better Team USA performance. But again, the funny part of it being a 43.5 point spread to, I want to say, like a 27 point spread. It's just hilarious to think about that, right? In terms of how much of a difference one game makes. What is going on here? Steph. Nah, doesn't get it off. The US came out focused. You got to give Steve Kerr credit, which I know not a lot of people want to do, but you have to give Steve Kerr credit for changing up his lineup, going with a lot more athletic starting lineup, removing Joel Embiid, putting Anthony Davis in, also putting in Jason Tatum instead of Drew Holiday just gives you more length, which also matches up better with South Sudan. Also adding a bigger defender to put over their guards who were able to get whatever they wanted the first time around. But a big difference here is the last time these two teams played, South Sudan led by 14 at the half. They're hitting all the threes, everything moving. And this time it's a complete reversal. South Sudan trailing 55-36. And you got, let's see here, what do we got? You got South Sudan only shooting 35% from three, whereas Team USA is shooting 43%, almost 44%, 7 of 16, 7 threes made in the first half by Team USA. Whereas if you look at the last time these two teams played, it was the complete opposite. LeBron James, as you'd expect, leading Team USA to start this game. He had 10 points as, I guess they're trying to call him Captain America as he was a flag bearer and all that fun stuff as well. But LeBron clearly made a point to come out in this game and get off to a good start, really lead the way for Team USA because, you can't, the longer you let one of these teams like South Sudan play well against you, the more confident they're going to get. But if you get out to a 20-point lead early, their confidence is going to fade, right? And that's where having a leader like LeBron to start the game is such a big advantage because he's going to come out and make sure that they're ready to go. He's going to be forceful to start the game and make sure he puts some points on the board. But also for Team USA, mentioned LeBron with 10, but the team lead actually is Bam Adebayo, who has 14 points off the bench. What are they calling him now? Bamonte? Bam with 14 points, 6 for 6 from the floor. That dude, again, what's his name? Kevin Durant. He has 9 points off the bench as well. And, it's a reminder of Team USA's depth where they struggle in the preseason, I guess the Olympic pre-tournament games, right? And then you add Kevin Durant and it's like, oh yeah, he's pretty good. He'll cover up a lot of the holes that you saw on this team. And that's what makes it such a difficult task to match up against Team USA because Kevin Durant's just here at any point to just wet shots, and there's nothing you can do. What do we got here? This women's soccer game's also on right now. Canada and Colombia. Canada needing to win to move on. Lots of stuff going on in the Olympics. I wonder if people are enjoying the Olympic basketball as much as I have been. Like, I don't know how many people caught that Japan France game yesterday. That game was amazing. Went to overtime and just an amazing showing by both teams, really. but Japan was so close to winning that game. In fact, they were up by 4 points with like 10 seconds left before France hits a three-pointer and one at like with seconds left to go in the game to send it to overtime. And then they end up winning in overtime. So just a crazy game there. And this tournament, it's so much fun to watch because it's unlike the NBA game in so many different ways where there's more ball movement, it's a faster pace, but there's more players involved. You see the NBA kind of changing over the past few years where it'll still slow down in the playoffs, but if you're able to build a team in which you have four of your five guys able to handle the ball on the perimeter, to create and make plays for themselves or for others, and then even have your big guy able to handle the ball at the high post, you become really successful in the NBA. And then, that's what the Boston Celtics were. And then they just had way more talent than the other teams that they were able to play. It was a style of play, and you could live with Jason Tatum having average games and still win. I'm not going to go full on Joel Embiid and the foolishness he was saying in his pod, right? But I just think you look at the style of play of what's been successful for the NBA, or I'll even bring it back to, a team that doesn't get the credit for their style of play, but might, listeners of this might understand the Raps. You think of that Raptors team. Actually, I can't say nobody gives that team credit. Ryan Russillo, I've heard multiple times, which has surprised me, but maybe it shouldn't because listening to him, you can tell that he actually watches a lot of ball. But he'll be one of the rare like American national media guys that even to this day will still give that Raptors team credit for being one of the teams that you see this style of play now in the NBA where you're adopting a European model in terms of it's spacing the floor, it's having four guys, if not five guys, that can all handle the ball at the top of the key and make passes out of the high post. But your guards, you have some perimeter skills. You can shoot, you can dribble, you can drive, you can, create plays for yourself or for others. And you look at that Raptors team, that was really the key to their success. You couldn't really match up against them, right? And if you remember, even going back to that Raptors team, you know, everything sort of clicked once they made the second round and they played against the Milwaukee Bucks. And because of the Raptors style of play, they were able to just cook whatever Milwaukee bigs they decided to put on the floor. You just run the pick and roll, you get your matchup where you have the guard on the other team's big, and you ride that out. And that's the style of play you're seeing right now dominate the NBA. Just look at the two teams that made the finals. And, the Raptors are one of those teams, but obviously you go back to the run of Golden State. That was a lot of their success as well, especially their early success pre Kevin Durant. It's just having playmakers at all positions. And I think when you watch international basketball, you're seeing every team play like that. And that's what makes it so good because all the players are skilled. Now, the NBA is, you see the NBA trying to play like that. The skill sets aren't really there, like on a depth level as of yet, right? Like, what I mean is, you can be trying to play that way, but if you don't have the guys who have the skill set, to play center and run the offense through the high post, it's just not going to work, right? But for the most part, you are seeing more and more teams trying to do that. Even the current Raptors team, when you look at that team and what Darko's trying to do, it's the same thing, right? The floor is spaced. You run possessions through your high post, but everyone's able to get a rebound and get out on the break and run. And that's the style of play that we're seeing so far. But the highest point of that obviously is Team USA. And if I bring it back to this game and what we're seeing so far from the Americans, whoa, a Kevin Durant Seattle Supersonics jersey. That is, wow, that is impressive. That is super impressive. Haven't seen one of those. Oh, it's a Mitchell and Ness. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Um, sorry, but to bring it back to this Team USA squad, if you look at them, right, they have the ability. The only thing that was going to slow them down was Steve Kerr still trying to force feed Joel Embiid onto the floor, because any other good team is just going to try to put him in that pick and roll and force him to play on the perimeter in terms of defense. And he's not giving you the post dominance on offense to justify that, right? So switching it up, putting Anthony Davis in, was able to give you 4 points and 5 rebounds and a block. It just changes the whole dynamic of what that team is going to be able to do. And plus, LeBron and AD are going to run a little two-man game because of the chemistry that they have, right? Like they rode that all the way to a championship in the bubble. But yeah, the starting lineup of Curry, Booker, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Tatum, I don't think I've watched most of the US games, even dating back to their pre-tournament schedule. And this is a brand new starting lineup, right? But that's the beauty of having such high level talent. You're able to mix and match and try a bunch of different things. And look at Steph. Steph's 0 for 4, but he's still loose as ever and just having fun. He's going to be fine. Doesn't matter that Steph Curry's 0 for 4, right? Again, 55-36. Team USA with the lead at the half over South Sudan. This is the Canada Hoops Daily Live Hangout. Big shouts to anybody who's in the feed right now watching this on our YouTube page. Big shouts to all of you. We will be here watching the Canadian women tomorrow morning, and then that's on Thursday morning. And then the Canadian men play Friday morning. We'll be here to watch that as well. So make sure you're liked and subscribed to the channel where you're watching right now. That way you can join in and we can watch this all as a family. Breakfast Club up and early. I know this is like an afternoon game on the East Coast, but it's Team USA, USA basketball. I'm going to watch that. I'm not going to dig too deep into this, but it is funny. Like, the one thing I don't understand about the Olympics is there's so many channels, and there still should be a channel on like, especially now where everything's streamed. Like, if you're able to put all the feeds up online, and now everyone's cable is also streamed as well, shouldn't you be able to put all of those streams on television? Meaning the same way that I go online and I'm able to just scroll to the sport that I want to watch, shouldn't I be able to do that on my TV? Just asking for a friend. I don't get it. Because like on TV, it's weird. Like you're looking at the guide and you're trying to figure out what's on what channel, where can I watch this, where can I watch that? It's very confusing when you're trying to find something specific. Now I get the Olympics is the Olympics. It's not for me, right? I'm going to watch the basketball. I'm going to watch any of the races, I'll watch some swimming, but mostly track. I'll be here for the races. I'll be here for the basketball. And that's probably it. I don't know what else really I'm like tuning in to like really take in and watch. So I get it. The Olympics is not for me. But my point is, if I really, volleyball, I will watch volleyball. Volleyball is dope. Whether it's beach volleyball or indoor volleyball, I will watch that as well. But my point is, if I was looking for the volleyball and I turn on said television, shouldn't I be able to just volleyball, boom, channel, boom, click, I'm watching volleyball? Just asking for a friend. Anyways, 55-36, USA up on South Sudan. And again, as you look at the box score, Bam Adebayo leading the way for the US. The big news, obviously, from that standpoint is they changed up their starting lineup. For those who don't remember, and I mean, why would you remember? There's no need for you to be watching USA South Sudan pre-Olympic games. But that's why I'm here. so that I'm able to tell y'all what happened in the last game. First time these two teams played was about a week and a half ago. The USA were favored by 43 and a half points. South Sudan comes out in a big lead. They were up by 14 points at the half, and it took a crazy comeback by Steph Curry and LeBron James in the third quarter. And then even still, South Sudan came back, and they were leading late into the fourth quarter and had a chance to win at the buzzer in terms of 3 shots they had at the buzzer. Couldn't get them to fall. USA ended up winning 101-100. And that part, if you're South Sudan, again, 43 and a half point dogs, you lose by 1 point. Now, a week later, Steve Kerr switches up the starting lineup, out with Joel Embiid, out with Drew Holiday, enters in Jason Tatum and Anthony Davis. Now, I will say the two changes, the way that I read them in two different ways. I think that Anthony Davis should be starting over Embiid anyways, but I do think that the move to put in Anthony Davis is more of a basketball move in terms of a better matchup against South Sudan. And the move to put in Jason Tatum, I think that's just to placate all the noise of, hey, Jason Tatum played 0 minutes in the first Olympic Games. But either way, here we are, third quarter underway. We're here, Canada Hoops Daily live hangout, watching South Sudan and Team USA. Third quarter action. Watch with us, enjoy with us. And once you enter the chat, all we ask, bless the video with the like. That's how you support the movement that is the Canada Hoops Daily page. We appreciate that. So let's see here. What do we got? Still with the same starters to start the second half for Team USA. And look at that, right? That's a play there where in that first game, I bet you Shayok's getting past Joel Embiid and getting all the way to the cup, where Anthony Davis is more athletic and he's able to make a move, get back, recover, and block that shot. South Sudan, though, I wonder if they have a push in them, how much they can really test this USA team in the second half. Also, from the USA standpoint, how much are they going to push in the second half to really, look at LeBron. LeBron's really in there working. Big rebound there from LeBron. LeBron, it's so crazy watching LeBron. Like, he looks old. Like, old man LeBron still out here cooking. I will say, too, another ridiculous thing that's happening is people like the never-ending debate of LeBron versus MJ. But I find it hilarious that people are trying to use this Olympic run. Oh, there we go. Team USA highlights. Should call it TSA or Team USA court cuts. Only the real ones know court cuts. Just like, for example, this new NBA deal where they're making such a massive deal about, oh, we're going to have like a red zone type show bouncing around from game to game. And like Canadian basketball fans know, yeah, that's called court surfing. And it's been around for a very long time, since I was a kid. But it's just hilarious that in this NBA deal in 2024, they're making this massive deal about, oh yeah, red zone type basketball night. Cool, guys. Way to go. Anyways, South Sudan. Shayok played really well for South Sudan in the last game, and also, I mean, just one of their best players, obviously, right? But there we are, Mariel Shayok. I'm trying to find this isn't what I wanted to find. I'm just trying to remember the details here of where Shayok played. Yeah, I remember he played for the Sixers for a bit. Look at that. LeBron not even pretending to play defense there. Right? And that's what I mean. Like LeBron, I get it. You're up by 20. LeBron's not really going to chase dude out to the 3-point line. I get it. That's where you get to play the card of being old man LeBron. Nobody's going to get mad at you for that. Up 20. Devin Booker knocking down a big three. Wow. Jason Tatum not having the best Olympics so far. Look at South Sudan. They're trying to make a run here. Woo! Shooter. Shooter. Steve Kerr timeout. We got ourselves a, what is that, 14-point game? Don't let South Sudan get hot. And I'm only half joking here. Right? And this is what I mean. Like South Sudan is going to play hard. And the US, it's just normal, right? You're going to want to lay up. You're going to like want to chill. You're up 20, as you just saw from that LeBron play, right? On defense, he's not going to run out at the 3-point line to cover when it's like that. Come on, man. So you get it. But can South Sudan sustain enough to make a push to make this game interesting? I don't know. I don't know. Also, I'm wondering if Joel Embiid's going to play at all. Curious about that one. 60-46, South Sudan making a push here, folks. Yes, my boy B in the chat. The game is not on television, or at least I don't think it's on television. If you go to CBC Gem, you have to search on their feed. They'll show you every event that's on right now, and you just got to click on the basketball. CBC Gem is free. You just go to their website and you can click on it there. But it took a little bit of searching for me to find it here. I'm trying to see, is this game like actually not on NBC? No, NBC is still showing swimming. Yeah, so that's where that game is if you want to find that. In Canada, in the US, I'm assuming it's on Peacock somewhere. That would be my guess. We have an 11-point game here. South Sudan is making a push here. What's happening here? Oh, yeah, that's a weird play right there. I don't even know what happened. That's a strange one. Derek White looks like he's going to stay in the game, though. And listen, South Sudan, 11-point game, striking distance with the US switching up their roster here, full subs, the second unit. Imagine this is your second unit led by Kevin Durant, right? And that's why Drew Holiday, or not Drew Holiday, Derek White's there for those hustle plays, right? To get those steals. But you got Derek White, Ant-Man, Bully. Nope. They're going to call rim violation on Bam. He jumped and held on to the rim with one hand and tried to tap it in with the other, which you cannot do. There's a lot you can do in FIFA, but that's not one of them. FIBA, wrong governing body. But yeah, this lineup for the US, how interesting is that, right? Like your second unit of Derek White, Drew Holiday, who are going to pick you up full court. And then you got Bam playing the 5, Kevin Durant playing the 4, and Ant-Man. That's an insane lineup. And that's their second unit. Turnover there by South Sudan. And that's the thing. You get it to 11, but can you get it below that? Bad turnover there from Kevin Durant. And that's the thing, right? When you're down by such a large amount, it's such a hassle because you have to expend so much energy, spend so much energy trying to get back into the game. And look, they're able to get it to 11, but now you need an extra push, and especially even more than normal because you're going against a fresh unit of NBA All-Stars, right? And then how are you going to get over that hump? I don't know why my phone, one of my group texts is blowing up here. Am I missing something else that's going on here? Oh, sorry. Look at South Sudan. They're trying to figure it out right now, but you're just in such a tough spot. You're trying to come back. You're using so much energy, and Kevin Durant's staring at you at the other end. And that's the beauty of it all too, right? Like you hear them talking about, the teams kind of going back and forth. And, you know, the biggest thing, the biggest reason for South Sudan, why they're even close, is because they are not afraid right now. They feel like they can play with the USA. And I mean, they did it for a game already. I'm sure Kevin Durant is telling them, hey, well, I wasn't there, which is a very good point. But look at that fake defense. We have a 10-point game here. South Sudan making a serious push. Derek White back the other way. It's the other part. Like people talking crap about Derek White. Like I get it in regards. That should be a foul, but they don't call it. Tough turnover there. Tough turnover there. I mean, a swing where you hit a three, you make it a 10-point game, and then you turn the ball over. You give up a three at the other end, and then you turn over the ball. Tough break there for South Sudan. That's just how difficult this one's going to be for them to make the full comeback and bring it all the way back around here. Again, big shouts to all the people watching this game. wherever you happen to be watching this live chat. Really appreciate you. Oh, I should put that. Let me go back here. Type that in. But yeah, I had to. Well, actually, I'm not going to say that. But just a reminder too, tomorrow morning, we'll be up bright and early watching Canada versus Australia. Women's basketball team must win for Team Canada if they want to have some hopes of moving on to the next round. Not really a good showing for our women's team in their first game. They'll desperately need a win tomorrow morning. We'll be up bright and early doing that. So, 7:30 in the morning. You might be at work already. You might be on your way to work. Can't watch the game. Join us. Join the chat. We'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on in that game for sure. Someone else asking me. So if you're South Sudan, you really need to stop here. Bam, just missing an alley oop dunk. This angle is pretty cool. I feel like it should be closer. Wow, South Sudan working the ball around. Can't get that three to go. You need that to fall. But here's USA's problem, right? On offense, a lot of standing around and watching, not a lot of ball movement. It's kind of one guy dribbling, everyone else standing around watching. Shouts to Anthony Edwards, by the way. I don't know if you saw that video online. Steph Curry introducing the women's US ping pong team to him because Anthony Edwards said that he could be on the ping pong team or something. He made some comments about how good he was at ping pong. And then when Steph brought them over, Steph is blatantly stirring the pot and egging everything on. But Ant-Man, Steph's telling him you couldn't get a point against them. Ant-Man saying, of course he could get a point. I need to see this game somewhere. If this ping pong match ever happens, I need to see it played. But on top of that, Ant-Man is just such a character. And also, you saw him at their ping pong match the other day, the Team USA game. He was right there in the stands cheering them on. So credit to him for that as well. This is I have the Canada Colombia game up at the same time, in which Canada needs to win to move on. And this is where it's like, if you draw when all you need to do is win, that's going to be very pathetic. Like, you can't get a goal. Oof. Anyways, 12-point game here. South Sudan continuing to keep this game close. And then they leave Ant-Man wide open. Royale Ivy not going to be happy about that. Not that there's many dudes on this US team you want to leave wide open for three, but Anthony Edwards is definitely not one of those dudes. That team rebounding there from the US. Ant-Man again. Oh, I thought he was pulling up for sure. He's so good. He's so good. You can just see when he wants to get to the rim, he can. And that's where, you know, again, this is a style of play the US is going to play, a lot of ISO ball, taking turns ISO ball. But when you watch these guys, they're so skilled and they just play at their own speed. And that's why you can't ever stop it, right? Like, how do you stop that? You can't speed up Ant-Man. He's playing at his own pace. People in the chat asking how to watch the game. CBC Gem online. If you're in Canada, you can just scroll, click on that link. You scroll down to the bunch of the games, and you should be able to click on that. If you're not in Canada, if you're in the US, I'd assume it's Peacock. That would be my guess. Because it's not on regular television, despite the fact we have 85 channels. So you got to pass that right there. And you see his teammates kind of mad at him, but he's right. Whoever dude was just rolled to the basket. He's wide open. Joel Embiid does not look like he's playing today at all. Yo. And it looks like nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna crush Joel Embiid. I'm not gonna waste my energy crushing Joel Embiid. I'm just gonna let it be. Just gonna let it be. Woo! They've been trying to run that a couple times and haven't been able to get it to go. But they get it to go that time, and the lead is back up to 19. And that's what makes it so tough, right? You're able to get it to 10, and then just like that, okay, Shayok, shutting me up. Feet work. I don't know if that was a travel or not, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt as they're down 19, right? Big shouts to the people in the chat watching this broadcast right now of our Canada Hoops Daily USA South Sudan live hangout. 200 people in this on the YouTube page. Really appreciate y'all hanging out and rocking with me. Really appreciate that. Make sure when you click into the link, you bless us with the like, you bless us with the share. Tell your friends or subscribe, I guess I should say. If you want to get caught up on any of the Canada games, we got recap podcasts that we've done, which you can find on the Canada Hoops Daily Apple or Spotify feeds or on the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page. Really appreciate that. Sorry, but I'm gonna get on my we don't need a review right now. We really don't. Just make the call, right? There definitely should be rules put in where it's like if the game's outside of a 15-point spread, right? If one team is winning by more than 15, you cannot go to a review. Got to speed up the game here. Like what are we doing here, right? Oh, Canada gets a goal. Big time goal. That's a serious header. That's a great header. 20 seconds left. Drew Holiday here leading the offense for Team USA. Finds that dude named Kevin Durant. How do you stop that? You don't. He just misses shots. Ant-Man. Nope. South Sudan got it down to 10 points. But at the end of the day, the lead back up to 16. Heading into the fourth quarter, credit to South Sudan for hanging in, trying to make a push, trying to keep it close. And I mean, South Sudan won that quarter 21-18. So, you know, not the lead that they needed to have in the third quarter to like make the game a game. But hey, you take the win of being able to win a quarter and you try to do it again in the fourth. And again, the reminder that point differential matters. So if you're South Sudan, even though you lose this game, right, against the US, you'll then be at 1-1. And my assumption is, yeah, Serbia won earlier against Puerto Rico. So the third game in that group should be South Sudan against Serbia. And the winner would get second place in the group. So the key is obviously you want to win that. And you want to have a good showing and just gain your confidence back that even though you're coming off a loss against the US, if you're being realistic about everything, you're probably supposed to lose to the US. But the key is there are two third place teams that will also move on to the next round. And for you to do that, it's going to come down to point differential. So, how much you lose to the US by matters. That's going to be a huge, huge, huge factor. So even if you do finish 1-2, there's a chance where you could be moving on depending on your point differential. So if you're South Sudan, it's in your best interest to keep playing here. Whereas if you're the US, you know, they're not really worried about point differential. They think they can take on any matchup. They're not going to be feared of any matchup going on into the next rounds. Right? Like, yeah, they're supposed to, but we know their mentality. We know LeBron, as we just saw earlier, right? The D that LeBron's probably going to be playing with going forward, right? Fourth quarter underway, and Bam Adebayo is still leading Team USA in scoring. He has 16 points off the bench. Anthony Davis back in, which is good to see as he was down with an ankle injury. So the fact that he's checking back into this game is a good sign and doing damage on the glass early. Also a sign that if you are Joel Embiid, he still hasn't played in this game yet, but I'm sure he's yeah, no, actually I'm not even going to get into that. Joel Embiid hasn't played yet, but Anthony Davis has done an exceptional job being in the starting lineup for Team USA. But yeah, Bam Adebayo, 16 points, 6 rebounds. Kevin Durant, second on the team with 11 points. Derek White, the guy everyone keeps trying to ask, why is he on this team? Why is he getting minutes? He has 10 points, 3 steals, hasn't missed a shot. He's 3 of 3 from 3. That's why Derek White's there. Derek White, too, is going to go down as one of those guys who I'm not comparing their style of play in terms of Kyle Lowry, but I'm just saying in terms of a guy who was on another team that for whatever reason wasn't, you know, the situation just didn't fit the timeline of where he was in his career. But another team is able to see the value that is there and, you know, give him a chance. And look at how good he's been for the Boston Celtics. Shayok trying to come down and hit that 3. That would have been a huge momentum swing. Ooh, they call a block. Do you know what? If I'm Shayok, I get it. Yo, if I'm trying to take a charge against LeBron, I at least better get the call. That's a charge. That is a charge. That is a charge. But I also would be very mad that if I tried to take a charge against LeBron and I didn't get the call, yeah, I'm gonna be kind of cheesed because I took that shot for no reason. So I get why my guy's a little salty because I would be too. Imagine taking a charge from LeBron James. Wide open look, big time shot there. But that's the thing, right? Like if you're South Sudan at this point, if you get it to 10, you take that as a dub. I want to let me go back and see what was the score against USA against Serbia. Because if you think about that, if you are able to lose to the US by less than Serbia lost to the US, you're in pretty good shape if you're South Sudan, right? So I think that'll be a key for them. I didn't see what happened on that play here. Ooh. Yo, I feel bad for my dude. He's taking an elbow to the ribs. Yo, that is, yeah. Anthony Davis is in the weight room, and that dude is not. So an elbow like that to the ribs is going to hurt. Yeah, no, no, no. That's not a dirty play at all. That's just a big boy get in the gym, right? Like that's all he's doing. Are they reviewing this? What are we doing? Come on, man. What is there to review? There is nothing to review. What are we doing here? Yeah, this so the reviews are super annoying, but the one point someone brought up, I don't even remember because I do too many pods that I, get very confused at certain points. But so I don't remember if it was basketball or NFL that I was watching or listening to. But they brought up the point that the reason why there's so much more reviews in all sports and even soccer, we watched a lot in VAR and how much that's been implemented into soccer. It's because of the gambling and because there's so much money that's involved in changing hands. They need to ensure that the right calls are being made, because you can't have a scenario where a play is made and you know thousands or millions of dollars are switching hands based on a play, right? So that's why you're seeing so much more challenges brought into professional sports, or not even just professional sports, but just all level of high level sports, I should say. All levels of high level sports. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Meaning professional, right? Because there's different levels of professional sports. That's what Welcome to Wrexham has taught me. What do they call a flagrant? And Team USA, like, why are we arguing this? Just you're up by what, 16? Poor ref, right? This ref's just like, yo, man, I'm just here going by the rule book. Y'all are up 16. You really gonna argue with me about an extra point? Although it's 16, that just makes it 15. If my guy hits this 14 and the ball, okay. South Sudan can make things interesting here, but the flip side of that is based off that call, maybe he fired up LeBron a little bit. 8 minutes left to go. Again, I'm just saying, if I'm South Sudan, I'm just trying to get it to at least 10. Right now, look at this Team USA lineup: Steph, Booker, AD, KD, and LeBron. Is that an and one? Yes, it is. South Sudan ballin'. Let's go. Yep, went right at Steph. Tough finish for the and one. Carleek Jones. 12-point game, folks. South Sudan. 8 minutes left. That's a lot of time. 77-66. South Sudan is right there. 8 minutes left in the game. This looks like it'll be LeBron KD time, no? Oh, LeBron AD time. He tried to throw it up. But yeah, Kevin Durant. I don't think he misses. Like, you watch Kevin Durant, and this was like Melo as well in Olympic play. You basically, I just got a text message asking what was the spread. So I'm gonna actually look it up because someone texted it to me yesterday asking about it. So I do want to know actually. So it was 29 and a half, right? South Sudan should be able to cover that. I know there's 8 minutes left in this game still, but 29 and a half yesterday. Let's see here. I mean, here's the thing, right? We talked about it earlier too. Like I said, the advice that I gave was that I thought, watching that South Sudan play them the last game, like I would have been comfortable taking South Sudan by 20. Devin Booker. Bodies flying everywhere. And Gabriel, remember Gabriel played what's Waylon Gabriel? I think I have that right. Pardon me. Gabriel played against played on the Lakers, right? With AD and LeBron. Yeah, my guy Brandon says got it at 28. Yeah, I mean, listen, the US obviously it's going to be how they want to finish this game. Yeah, right? Like how do they want to finish this game right now because what is this right now? 16? It's basically up to them. With 7 minutes left, the US could still cover that spread, but I would have taken South Sudan. That was my advice yesterday. It's my advice today. If you got it at I was saying I would take South Sudan by as many as plus 20. I would take South Sudan. That's when I'd really start to like think about, okay, I'll take the US. To beat someone by 30 points in a basketball game is difficult to do if both teams are committed to trying till the very end. Right? Because as again, right? Look at this. The US is still they're playing hard right now, but I really think the reason why that happened was because they got mad after that AD call. That AD call, you could tell had them a little like, okay, like screw this. Right? Like that got it down to 11. And then boom, right back up, 17. Woo! Yeah, South Sudan needed a timeout there. Back up to 19. The other interesting part of what Steve Kerr's doing is how he's running these two teams out there. I mean, it's not like you're putting out when you're putting in a full rotation. I mean, the guys that are coming in, they're going to want to get their buckets too, right? So, oh, oh, that looked like two handballs there for Canada. Did they have VAR in Olympic soccer? Sorry, if people just popped into the chat right now, I also have the Canada Colombia game up as well. As if you've been paying attention, a lot of drama involving Canada soccer over the last week, the women's program. But basically, they need to win and they move on, despite the fact that they were penalized. What was it, 6 points? Which is insane. Like that's a crazy, crazy penalty. But they're penalized 6 points and somehow are still going to be able to move on if they win. Yeah, I don't know if there's VAR, but I swear that was two handballs by Canada in their own box. Anyways, back to basketballs. They're back from commercial break. It is 87-68. USA leading South Sudan. And this super lineup, like this probably is closer to what the starting lineup should be. I think personally, I would just put Drew Holiday in for Devin Booker. But the Anthony Davis, LeBron, KD front line, that to me is what the starting front line should be for Team USA. And obviously Steph's going to be in there too. So really it's just that Booker spot, right? Who are you going to put in for that Booker spot? I would personally go with Drew Holiday because I feel like someone's going to have to play defense. Hold on. Did he just throw down a dunk and tap his head as if AD was really going to try to block that in a blowout game? Careful what you wish for, my dude. Okay. We still got ourselves a ball game. No matter what happened, whatever the final score is in this game, man, I'm impressed by South Sudan. They play hard. They play defense. They get out and run. They play with energy. Like they're just a really, really solid team. And again, this is a team that when they played the US a week and a half ago, they were 43.5-point underdogs. 43.5 points. That's not a real spread. That doesn't even sound, that's completely made up, right? That sounds fake. But as mentioned, they only lost by 1 point to the US. And for those wondering, yes, the US were playing their guys. Steph and LeBron played in that game and had to put in mega work to not blow it. So South Sudan coming into the Olympics, making their first Olympic appearance, winning their first game against Puerto Rico, and, you know, you're losing by 17 to the US, but really, are we going to say they're shaming that? Shouts to the women's US team, Asia Wilson, the best in the world. US team, of course, supporting, or the women's US team supporting the men's US team. Did I see online that people think Asia Wilson is dating Bam? Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? Or did I just like see a tweet? But in this era of Twitter, I'm just scrolling past a lot of stuff. There's a lot of noise. This is where, again, I'm going to stress this importance, right? Two reasons why I'm going to keep talking about the point spread. One, of course, people like gambling. But most importantly, point differential matters so much in this tournament because there's 3 groups and obviously quarterfinals are coming up. So you have the top 2 teams in each group, and then there will be 2 third place teams that will make it. And that obviously is going to come down to point differential. So if you're South Sudan, you know, if you look at the groups ahead of time, obviously being in a group with the US and having to rely on point differential to finish to be one of those third place teams, That sucks because chances are you're going to get blown out by the US. But here you go with South Sudan, where you're trying at this point, you want to make sure that just in case you lose by as little as possible, right? And if you can keep it to 10, that's not bad because there's teams in the other groups that are definitely losing by more than 10, right? So these last few minutes will be very important. Oof. AD to LeBron. Look at LeBron. LeBron, there's so many times with LeBron where you watch and you can tell like my guy's doing it for the gram, right? Like he's trying to make some gram moments right here. Derek White into the game for Steph. Drew Holiday in the game for KD. Is that a give and go? LeBron and AD? This camera angle is so dope. The one from behind the glass. Sometimes I dream that he is me. No, sorry. I mean, LeBron does want to be like Mike, so I guess it is fitting. Bum, 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 bum. Is Bam still leading Team USA in scoring in this game, or someone passed him? Kevin Durant has 14. Who just scored? Is that AD again? And it's up to 22, kids. It's up to 22. Point spread's getting close. That's an and one, ref. Point spread's at 20 right now with 3.5 minutes left to go. LeBron and AD still in the game. Oh, Devin Booker. The ref's just trying to give South Sudan some love, man. AD checks out for Bamonte. Davis, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal, 3 assists. Yeah. May we never see Joel Embiid again. I'll be honest, I don't like watching Joel Embiid play in the fall. I definitely don't enjoy watching him play in the summer. So I'm okay with this. Bam is just firing away from 3. Airballed that one, though. Okay, South Sudan. This is a big 3 minutes here for South Sudan. I'd like to see South Sudan make the quarterfinals. No? That'd be a cool story. LeBron trying to dump it off to Bam, but he can't get it to go. That's a tough shot. It's a tough shot right there. Drew. Nope. 2 minutes left. I don't know. 28-point spread. I don't know if US is going to cover that at this point. I shouldn't speak too soon. That's not an offensive foul. That's a tough call right there. It's a very tough call. Like I get it. Okay, that is an off. Okay. I'll take it back. Offensive foul. I'll take it back. We got more subs in to close out the game. Or is there a timeout here? Looks like it. Let me guess. Is this going to be another review? No. We got Halliburton into the game. We got Ant-Man into the game. And you know, Ant-Man he is chucking for the rest of this game. Ant-Man is getting shots up. He's in with Tatum, Bam. Tatum, Bam, and Drew Holiday. I'm pretty sure that this South Sudan timeout here, it's a 20-point game. I'm pretty sure he's going to spend this huddle telling his team right now, this minute 42 is super important. We need to make sure we finish this game strong. We want to finish this game down by less than 20. And that is for the point differential factor. Again, point differential means the top two teams in each group. There's 3 groups. So 3 groups, 2 teams, that's 6 teams, plus the next 2 teams, meaning the top 2 third place teams, right? That's who will move on. So you would hate to be the third place team and miss out by a couple points. Miss out because you got blown out by 26 instead of 24. That's the importance of this minute 42 if you are South Sudan, because their next game is against Serbia and Nikola Jokic. And I mean, that's going to be, I want to watch that game actually. I should look to see when that game's on because I'd love to watch that game first off. But if you're South Sudan, that's going to be a tough game for you to win against Jokic, right? But at the same time, whoever loses that game, you want to see Jokic or South Sudan in the quarterfinals, right? So that's why point differential matters. Look at that, right to the cup, trying to get points on the board. My Apple Watch telling me that I need to stand. It's like, doesn't my Apple Watch know that I'm doing a live hangout right now? Nice pass from Drew. Look at South Sudan. No, he missed it. Yo, bro. Okay. 16 points now, South Sudan. Ant-Man can't get that to go. And here's the thing, right? Great timeout by Royale Ivy. You got to give him credit. Ooh, and one. Count the bucket. This is what I'm saying, right? That was such a good timeout by Royale Ivy. Because I'm sure in the huddle, he's telling them, listen, finish this game strong. Point differential is a thing. And obviously, it's going to mean more to them than it does to the U.S. So that means run, run, run. They're not going to want to run for the last minute 40 of this game. And South Sudan has been able to cut the lead from 20 points to, gets that to go 13. That is big. Will Team USA run an actual offense, or is Ant-Man just going to jack? I'm going with Ant-Man's going to jack. Oh, he got doubled. He had to give it up. Nice look from Drew. Dumps it down. Bamate. Oh, Ant-Man. That's a big swing right there. Back to 17. He missed a layup. Oh, big 3. 14-point game. Ant-Man. Point differential matters. Oh. South Sudan. They put up a fight, but lose 113 or 103 to 86. Pardon me. 103 to 86 is your final. And listen, you're South Sudan. You put up a fight. You lost by 17 to the U.S. You take that. Mind you, I try to give solid gambling advice. I'd said take South Sudan by as much as plus 20, right? Anything less than 20, I'd get, that's where I go to the US, but at plus 20 and above, take South Sudan. They cover that. I got to check into the gambling group text, see what they're saying over there. But yeah, the real spread was 28. South Sudan plus 28, good money, right? I don't even think the US was winning by 28 at any point in this game. At most, I know it was at 20 a lot, might have got up to 25 at one point. Can I see largest lead? Is ESPN doing that? Team stats. Is it up to date? Let's see here. No, they don't have largest lead. No, not in this one. Not on this box score, no largest lead. But either way, USA with the victory 103-86. Bam Adebayo leading the way with 18 points, 7 rebounds for Team USA. Then you got Kevin Durant off the bench. All 3 of Team USA's top scorers are off the bench. You have Bam with 18, Kevin Durant with 14, Anthony Edwards with 13. Solid win for Team USA. Very much atoning for their near defeat to South Sudan 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I don't know. The last 2 weeks have been a blur for me. I have no sense of time. But South Sudan losing last week to Team USA by 1 point, falling by 17 here. And, you're seeing some sad faces there because that's a team that genuinely felt like they could compete against the US. And they know they just got off to a bad start, weren't really in this game at all. If you really want to be honest, like at certain points they were able to get the lead down to 10 a couple times, but couldn't get over the hump. The start was just too good for Team USA. LeBron James made sure that he got Team USA off to a good start. Credit to Steve Kerr for switching up the momentum and starting Anthony Davis instead of Joel Embiid, who did not play at all in this game. But what that did in terms of putting Anthony Davis in the starting lineup, you're able to be more mobile on defense and on offense, which is just a better matchup against a South Sudanese team that is a lot more athletic and faster and quicker than, let's say, Serbia is going to play. South Sudan is going to play with a lot more pace. So credit to Steve Kerr for making that move, which a lot of people have been calling for anyways, just because you haven't seen much from Joel Embiid that's been good so far. So putting Joel Embiid on the bench for Anthony Davis, that was a good move. Jason Tatum got the start as well for Drew Holiday, who came off the bench for Team USA today. Jason Tatum finished with 4 points, 2 for 4 from the floor, but he had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Maybe that'll quiet everyone, or will that make everyone think like, oh, you just started him because of the backlash and you felt bad for playing him 0 minutes in the last game? I don't know, man. I'm learning more and more to try to just bypass the negative bleepery talk that goes on all the time, because people are going to find something to be mad at after each and every game, right? Like poor Jason Tatum was the laughing stock of like the basketball Twitter for the past couple days just because he didn't play in the last game, and Derek White got a bunch of minutes. Where if you understand basketball and watch basketball, you can see that Team USA doesn't have many options at point guard. So, of course, Derek White is going to be more likely to get minutes than Jason Tatum is playing over Kevin Durant, right? Like, but here we are. Anyways, the U.S. overwhelming favorites, obviously, to win the gold medal here at the Olympics. And they have, I think they needed to have a good showing against South Sudan just to prove to themselves and to everyone else, like, no, we're still good. We're still here. So they improved to 2-0 in their group. They will finish off their group play against Puerto Rico That will be their last game of the group stage. And Puerto Rico has lost their first 2 games. So you'd expect the U.S. to win that game fairly easily, and be first in their group moving on. But the big thing will be point differential, because even for the first place teams, how you get seeded in the quarterfinals is dependent upon how you um, where your point differential ranks. Meaning, let's say the US, Canada, and France are the 3 teams that win their groups. The way that you will be seeded is going to be based on your point differential. So if you're Canada, you want nothing more to be the second seed, and that way you avoid the US as long as you can. You end up on a different side of the bracket than the US. So either way, big dub for Team USA. Big shouts to all the people that entered this chat. I look up and see the total numbers of people that joined the chat today to watch, and we got 258 people overall into this chat stream to watch along. USA take on South Sudan and win. Thank you for tuning into this, the USA versus South Sudan, where USA is able to come out on top with the victory. Really appreciate everybody tuning in to this pod. Just a reminder, we'll be up super early, 7:30 a.m. to watch some basketball tomorrow morning, bright and early. We have Canada, the women's team, taking on Australia. That will be the game that we'll be watching early tomorrow morning. And then it's Thursday. Oh, then I'm going to a jam. Anyways, but that's at 7:30 a.m. And then on Friday morning, big game as well. The Canadian men will take on Spain. And if they beat Spain, finish 3-0 in their group, they've already qualified for the quarterfinals. But again, the importance of seeding. You want to be first in your group. You want to avoid the U.S. for as long as possible. We'll be here to watch those games. And of course, a reminder for the Canada games, we will also be doing a wrap-up podcast for all the folks that might miss it. Just know that we got you covered. You can find the wrap-up podcast, Canada Hoops Daily podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. All you got to do is search Canada Hoops Daily for our video content. Make sure you go to YouTube and go to the Sheldon Alexander page. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That's where you can find us there. And of course, all our other Canada Hoops Daily content, challenge content, as the challenge is coming back. But lots of stuff going on there. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying the Canada Hoops Daily live hangout. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the people sending in the questions and comments in the chat, because without y'all, who would I be talking to, right? We appreciate that. And as I always say, I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this. This is Canada Hoops Daily live hangout. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.